What's up guys, it's Rab from Rabtastic Paints. Happy Tolkien Day to all my Tolkien enthusiasts, and what better way to celebrate today than posting the video you've all been waiting for. That's right, today is the day that I paint my bases Rhinox hide. Seriously, today's video I'm going to be painting Gothmog from the Battle of Osgiliath set, both mounted and on foot, so let's crack into it. So to start, I primed both of the models black. The reason for that is that I'm going to slap chop the warg, and also the black really helps with the orcish armour. I've also magnetised the mounted Gothmog so I can take him off if he dies. Now I'm going to assume that everyone knows what slap chop is, so I'm not going to explain it to you, but I've primed the model in black and now I'm going to dry brush it all over with a medium grey. Once that's been done, you go back in and dry brush it again with a lighter grey, or in this case a white, and you use it this time to pick out highlights or details that you want to stick out. So for me, the face and the mane of the warg. And now we're going to apply some contrast paints or some speed paints if you use them on top of that multi-layered dry brush. The first paint we're going to apply is Skeleton Horde from GW or Citadel. I'm going to use that for the lower half of the warg. It's quite a light colour compared to the rest of it. Now whilst the Skeleton Horde is still wet, we're going to attempt to wet blend another contrast paint in with it. The one we're going to use is Cygor Brown, also from Citadel Paints. So we're going to try and use this as the mid-tone for the warg fur. So we're going to blend it from the bottom most of the way up to the top. And to be honest, you could probably use the Cygor Brown by itself to paint the warg, but I wanted to play about a bit and try and show off and do some wet blending. And the last paint that we're going to use for this Citadel contrast paint wet blending experiment is Black Templar. We're going to use this just for the mane at the top of the warg, and we're going to blend it into the Cygor Brown, and hopefully should achieve a nice gradient of colour from the bottom of the model up to the top. Now once the model's been left to dry, we're going to go back in with a dry brush again. This time we're going to dry brush Ushabti Bone, which we're going to lightly brush over all of the fur of the model to hopefully bring back some texture to it. And then we're going to take that same Ushabti Bone and we're going to paint it onto the nails, so the claws, the fingernails, as well as the teeth. Now, unfortunately, I did this off camera, so you're going to just have to take my word for it. Once that's done, you've got a few small details to paint, such as the saddle and straps, the eyes, mouth, and any weapons hanging from the belts. And anything else that catches your eyes. Next up, we're going to paint the big man himself, Gothmog, and we're going to start with some red. Red's a good colour for all of these Morannon rocks. It seems to be the colour that ties them all together. We're going to use this red, Mephiston red in my case, to paint any of the clothing that we can see underneath his armour. Now for the armour itself, we're going to use the only colour for armour, and that's Lead Belcher. It's a great colour, it's fantastic, I love it. But we're not going to paint it on, we're going to dry brush it on. We're going to dry brush it on all of the armour pieces on the model, and that should give us the sort of look of like black iron that we're looking for, not sparkly steel like the Minas Tirith warriors, a dirty black iron for these orcs. Now that we've dry brushed all of the armour, we're going to paint the weapon, and we're going to use Lead Belcher as well to paint this lovely big heavy mace of his. And now it's time to paint Gothmog's flesh, and he has quite a peculiar flesh colour, so I had to stop painting for a minute, go and do some research, look at some pictures of him, just to really make sure that I nailed the colour. So I settled on Rakarth flesh for Gothmog. I've had some disasters with this paint in the past, but it actually works out quite well for Gothmog. Make sure you do multiple thin coats, especially on the top of a black primer. Now that all the base coats are finished, it's time to apply some washes to our model, and the first one we're going to use is Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to apply this to all of the model apart from the flesh, so everything apart from the hands and face. Cover his armour, his clothes and his weapons with this Agrat Serf shade. And to shade the face and hands, we're going to use Reikland Flesh Shade. And this is a really good wash, especially for this model. Being able to pick out all the details on his face is brilliant, and a wash like this, it does half the job for you. Now that the model has been given plenty of time to dry completely, it's time to start highlighting. We're going to start with the cloth. So the red cloth, we're going to highlight it with Evil Sun's Scarlet. We're going to use this to pick out any raised areas of the fabric or edges. Take your time, go around the whole model, look for some nice areas that will look even better with some highlights, and pick them out as you go. Next up, we're going to highlight all of the metallics on the model, such as the weapon, the armour and the large shield on his back. To do that, we're going to use a dry brush and we're going to use Stormhost Silver. Make sure you only have a little bit of paint on your brush and slowly dry brush the entire model, making sure to hit off the raised edges. Now it's time to highlight the face, and we're going to use Pallid Witch Flesh for this. Be careful with this, faces are one of the areas of model the easiest to mess up and they always draw the most attention, so take your time, pick out any raised details such as eyebrows, ears, chin, cheek and lips. Of course my camera wasn't in focus for this, but hopefully it should look better than this. So I wasn't entirely happy with his skin tone, so I applied another wash of very watered down Carroburg Crimson. Now all you've got left to do is repeat all of those steps with the mounted Gothmog, and if you've magnetised them, this is going to be super easy. Then it's just time to base them and they're ready to hit the tabletop. And with that, Gothmog is ready to lead the Orc forces against the men of Middle-earth. Guys, I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you have, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're feeling really generous. I only have a couple of models left from the Osgiliath box. It's the Free Ranger Captains. I'm going to get those painted up sometime soon, but I've got some other plans in the works as well, so keep an eye on the channel. Until next time, take care.